We're live. Hi, Evelyn. So it's nice to see you.
Hello.
So, hi, friends. We're here today live with Evelyn Mensah. She's one of the founders of Patsilver Foundation in Abuja, Nigeria. So, Evelyn, tell us a little bit. We're happy to have you on our show.
Thank
Uh,
you.
excited for all that you're doing. And I know that you recently concluded a workshop.
Yes.
But before we go into that, tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Evelyn Mensah?
Ah, thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. I take it as a privilege. So thank you very much for inviting me on board. Evelyn Mensah, she she's a graduate of industrial chemistry who decided to follow her passion. Um, I'm a graduate of industrial chemistry. I had my first degree in Nigeria and then left for the UK where I delved into social care, from social care into social work, from social work into special education.
Wow.
Um, Purely out of passion. Purely out of passion. I've always been so I like to make people feel good, like to make people happy.
Looks like we're having some internet issues.
And by chance, I went into social care. I'm like, ooh, I think I like that. Yeah. So that was how I got into social care, and I've not looked back since then. It's almost 15, 17 years now.
Wow. Wow.
So, and then I returned to Nigeria in 2011, 2012. Jesus, it's so long, man. I can't even remember. So I returned back to Nigeria 2011, 2012. Set up Patsilver Foundation 2014, set up the center 2016, and it's been like that all through.
Wow, that's good. So when you say Pat Silver uh, Foundation and the center, I believe this
Yeah.
must be two different entities.
Well, the center emanated from the foundation. Before the center, I was doing like community outreach to persons with
Okay.
special needs. Patsilver has two sides to it. The education is a part, that's Patsilver's foundation. It has two sides to it. The educational aspect, and then that's for two target audience. The educational aspect and then the health aspect. For the educational aspect, it's for children with special needs. And then for the health, it's for commercial sex workers, female commercial sex workers. So we're doing the outreach, the community outreach.
Hmm.
Or I thought, okay, if I'm going to make this educational support um, more viable, then a center needs to be set up. So the Patsilver Center was set up, born out of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it to rehabilitate sex workers or just to take care of their health as they work?
Okay. Because Patsilver Foundation is quite small. It's not like a huge entity yet. What we did was to partner with a bigger organization, a bigger non-governmental organization. They do the rehabilitation, but we kind of supervise it. So we go out on the streets, we provide the psychosocial support to the girls on the street and link them, refer them to this NGO that does the rehabilitation. And then after they're rehabilitated for 6 months, after the rehabilitation, when they give them the starter pack and the grant to start a new life, so they can start to, um, to promote positive means of earning, right? That's the aim of, the rehabilitation. So what we
Wow.
do, we follow them up to ensure that they're doing what what they've taught them to do during their rehabilitation, because they teach them skills acquisition, financial intelligence and all of that.
Yes. Wow. Thanks for doing that. That's certainly
Thank
helping our
you.
society and communities in Nigeria. But the
Yeah,
focus today is actually the learning disabilities. And the reason
yeah,
that I've actually taken a keen interest on your foundation is because of the work you're doing with learning disabilities. I
yeah,
grew up in Nigeria myself, and I know that I had cousins, I had friends who had some sort of learning disabilities, but growing up, we didn't realize these were disabilities because
yeah,
the parents will often beat the children to wise up or to stop being slumpy or, to smarten
yeah,
up. And now that's, grown up and I've gotten to know a lot more
yeah,
about learning disabilities, it just breaks my heart to see that those friends of mine, those relatives of mine could have been
yeah.
helped at some point. So tell us a little bit more about dyslexia for many people that don't know, and if that is the only thing you work on. I mean, is it only dyslexia you work on, or there's a whole range of learning disabilities that you work with?
We don't just work with individuals with learning disability. We also work with individuals with developmental disabilities such as autism, uh,
Mhm.
Down syndrome, and cerebral palsy on the low scale of the spectrum. So, and all of these individuals, they can have, learning differences. But the emphasis is they have the ability to learn. There's a misconception that they can't learn, they can't learn anything. Some people use derogatory words like, dumb and all of that. But the truth is, they have their specific learning styles. If you can explore it, discover it, and follow their learning styles, they do learn. So,
Mhm.
yes, we don't just work with individuals with dyslexia, we work with individuals with autism and Down syndrome as well.
Hmm. Hmm. And you live in northern part of Nigeria, in Abuja. And I know from growing up in Nigeria again that many of the people, I mean, northern origin, from the northern origin, they see things like disability as normal, and for those that are wealthy, they shield any child with disabilities so that there's no stigma to the family. And for those who are poorer, they take advantage of the children with disabilities by making them to panhandle and become beggars on the streets before you know it. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how are you able to break through in a society or in a community where disability is just accepted? How are you able to be helping people along the way?
Well, it's not an easy journey. Um, but the truth is, I'm not alone in it. There are a lot of people now, you know, compared to when I first came back to Nigeria and now, there are lots of advocates for persons with special needs. And there's a lot of awareness programs out there. So I think people are getting used to it now. For example, I've had like horrible stories from some of the parents that I work with. The husbands accusing the women that because they cheated on them when they were pregnant, that's why the children turned out this way. And then some women think, oh, okay, when I was pregnant with the baby, I went to the village, I had a little, verbal altercation with my father's wife, my stepsister, my stepbrother, and then I came back, gave birth, and my child was like this. But the
Hmm.
truth is, it has nothing to do with that. So we are constantly doing awareness. Like if you go, like I'm sure you've been, like you said, you've been to the Patsilver page. There is, I make this effort to ensure that, I drop some messages there, once in a while, or whenever I feel the urge to do it, I do it. And then we
Mm-hmm.
also do a lot of awareness programs as well. We have flyers that we print and take to, like antenatal classes. So even before you have your child, you are aware that, okay, this could happen. Like, for example, if there's a prolonged labor, it could lead to cerebral palsy. The
Mm-hmm.
stress of the prolonged labor could affect the child. So I tell women when I go to antenatal clinics and I do outreach to women there, and I tell them, yes, we all want to give birth like the Hebrew woman, fine, but we're Nigerian women, so let's give birth like Nigerian women. We're not the Hebrew women anymore. If you're able to give birth like the Hebrew woman, that's fine. But if you're not, opt for CS. It doesn't make you a lesser woman. It's better to save time and save your baby than for you to say, "Oh, I want to give birth like this woman." So all of that contributes. And then going back to your question, what you said about the Northerners, I think the awareness is reaching them too. So like the rich ones who can afford therapy, they're open to it.
Mm-hmm.
And even the poor ones that cannot afford it, they're also open to it. I mean, I lost one of the children that I was taking care of. Um, I'm sure you must have seen it on my page, one baby princess. We've been catering to baby princess for 5 years. We just lost her in June, end of June. They're
Yeah.
northerners. The
Yeah.
mother is a widow. They're northerners. They were referred to us from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. So the awareness is going out there. Sometimes we go to small communities, talk to them, and when they see that people actually care about them, yes, first of all they hide the kids because there's this stigmatization. But then when
Mm-hmm.
we go to community, like because of that baby princess, I had to do something for their community. And because of that, everyone wanted to be friends with her. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going there and saying, oh, you have to play with her, but because of her, and I made them know that because of this girl, I'm doing this for this community. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
everyone wanted to be friends with her mom. Everyone wanted to be friends with her. All of a sudden, everyone wanted to carry her. Do you know what I mean? Um, so when you do intervention, you do it in a roundabout manner. You don't just say, it's not forceful. It's not forceful, but just gradually you get into people. And then we thought, I mean, this community where that girl lived, when she died, my
Mm-hmm.
husband and I were there when she died. You need to see the whole community stood still. This was a child with special needs. You would have thought because she was a child with special needs, her mother is a widow, you know, when anything happens, no one is gonna bother. But no, the community stood still because of her, because she
Mm-hmm.
was popular. And what made her popular, the fact that through her, we did things for her community. Everyone wanted to associate with her and her mom. So there are different ways you do awareness. It's not just about, carrying your microphone and talk about, the challenges you have for
Yeah.
children with special needs. So, yeah.
Right, right. Wow. So thanks for sharing the story of Baby Princess because when you read what you posted, you don't get that much of a picture
Yeah.
like you just
Yeah.
shared. So thank you for sharing the background story to Baby
Thank you.
Princess. May her soul rest
Amen.
in peace. And I will pray
Amen.
for her mother. That is heartbreaking for
And
sure.
she was the only child.
Mm,
She was the only
mm,
child of her mother.
mm, yeah.
So,
Just wondering how you comfort someone like that. But again, you look back and you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep moving
that's
forward
it.
regardless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as you're working with many of these children and young adults, what kind of challenges from your perspective do you think these children face? And the reason I ask is because recently we interviewed Busola Akinshola, and she's just a girl on fire who lives with cerebral palsy, but she's unstoppable. And I
Yeah.
think of several children who live with different kind of disabilities, and they're not able to move on, either because of their backgrounds, or no help, or no one encouraging them. So from
Yeah.
your perspective now, on the other side of the table, looking after these children, what challenges do you think they face in their day-to-day
Uh,
life?
I think is the main challenge is, the delay in developmental milestones.
Mm,
Uh, they can't really do things according to their chronological age. Some of
mm,
them, not all of them. Um, when you want to, assign tasks to them, you have to think about their developmental age first before you assign a task. So when it comes to parents who are not really buoyant, because whether you like it or not, therapy is expensive.
mm,
Therapy is very expensive.
mm,
Busala is very lucky. Her parents are, on the medium class, I think. So she's lucky that way. But then not everyone cannot, because for children with cerebral palsy, persons with cerebral palsy, you need a lot of physiotherapy, and physiotherapy does not come cheap.
mm,
I mean, I worked in the UK for years. I worked in Ireland briefly for, I think, 2, 3 years. And I know the different organizations I worked for. We work directly with the government where, families may go to the local authority and say, I need help with my child.
mm,
And then the
mm,
local authority refer them to us. And we go, I was in charge of, I worked as care coordinator for almost 10 years. So I was in charge of going out to see the families, assess their needs, and draw up a support plan, and then send it to the account department. They cost it and send to the local authority. All that is done in the Western world. But here, if anything happens, you happen to have a child with special needs, you're on your own.
mm,
You're
mm,
totally on your own. So that's a very big challenge. The government does not have any plans for persons with special needs in Nigeria. Yes, they have, inclusive education
mm,
bill or law or whatever. It's there. It's just on paper, black and white. But when it comes to
mm,
implementing it, there is no support.
mm.
There's no support for parents. But
Yeah.
again, that's why it's difficult for parents on the low class earners
Mm,
because therapy is not cheap. I'm sure you would have come in contact with one or two persons. I
mhm.
had to go back to Busola again because she has shared her story. I'm sure if
Yeah.
you were to speak to her mom, because moms are usually good at keeping records. They will tell
Yeah.
you how expensive it was to take care of her up to the stage where she became independent. So this is what most parents go through here. And us as service providers, like I will tell you, I don't have I don't have like a set cost for what I do because
Mm,
my motto is no child with special needs comes my way without getting support. So if it's
yeah.
the barest minimum, I will charge it and make sure the child gets support. But then again, I don't get support from anywhere. So there's only so much I can take on as, you know, as an individual and as an organization because at the end of the day, I don't want to overwork my staff team, you know.
Yes. Of
So
course.
I think the main challenge is funding and no government support.
Hmm. So all of this awareness, and yet no government support in Nigeria, not even the local government. There's nothing that can be done, no intervention for this.
Well, they don't, I don't think they believe this thing really exists.
Hmm,
The awareness is there, but once in a while, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development would, once in a while give one or two here. But that's like, I'm telling you,
yeah.
like once in a while. And then
Hmm,
it doesn't go around to all service providers. You
yes.
have to have the connect for it to get to you.
Oh,
And you're
wow.
busy trying to take care of children with special needs, and at the same time, you're busy trying to get the connect so you can. So it doesn't really go around, unfortunately.
Hmm. So this workshop that you just recently concluded, the LD learning difficulties
Yeah.
workshop, is that it? What was that about?
Okay, I met with a like-minded individual who believes in empowering people
Mm-hmm.
um, through, hands-on practical approach to learning. And
Yeah.
we came together and like, okay, what are the needs in Nigeria? Actually, it was a collaboration between amongst three continents actually.
Wow.
America, yeah, America, Ireland, and Nigeria. So we have the American, the Nigerian, and the Irish, which I thought was quite, it was impressive.
Yeah.
So there's the Irish facilitator who teaches children with arts.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
the American one teaches children through the concept of the way the brain is wired.
Hmm.
You see how interesting that sounds.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, what it is to encourage, empower educators and parents. I say parents because we, the service providers and the educators, we are a team with the parents. We cannot do it for all. For
Mm-hmm.
example, in our center, we have what we call the parents teaching day. So they come in and observe what we do with their children. The
Hmm.
reason for that is to ensure continuity because, I mean, they're with us, 6 hours, 7 hours in the day, and then they go back, and then the whole weekend they're not with us.
Mm-hmm.
And for children with special needs, for you to get them to, get a hold of things, you have to repeat, 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 repeat. Say that as much as you can say it. That is the concept of learning for children with special needs. So
Mm-hmm.
we make sure we try to get parents on board during trainings like that. We even do parents training sessions here as well, just to empower parents to be able to have an understanding of what we do with their kids. So when they
Mm-hmm.
get home, they can continue with their kids. So that's what the workshop yesterday was about.
Oh, great. Wow. Congratulations on that finishing.
Thank
So, yeah,
you.
we're just hoping that many children and parents dealing with children with learning disabilities or any kind of disabilities at
Yeah,
all, any difficulties, we hope that they will get the help that they need and also
yeah.
that the support they need. So we just want to thank you for doing your part in
Thank
that,
you.
supporting the parents and the children. And we thank you for the good work you're doing. And we hope that
Thank you.
with each workshop, with each child, with each community, you will help them to be moving forward. That is all what we talk about here, moving
That's
forward and moving forward. So thank you so much, Evelyn, for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
I'm just going
Thank
to
you very much.
Thanks. I'm going to get you off here. And so
Okay.
one word for the audience. Anyone listening to you that is dealing with children with learning difficulties or disabilities, what do you have to say to them?
It gets
One word.
better with time. It gets better with time. Practice, practice, practice.
Hmm, hmm. So encouraging.
And then for people who see people with special needs, it's not contagious. It's not a disease. It's a condition.
Hmm,
So when you get close to them and be friends with them, you don't
hmm,
end up having special needs. It's not
hmm,
contagious.
hmm.
Special
Thank
needs
you.
is a condition, it's not a disease. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on today. We look forward to joining you again soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Take care now. So, family and friends, you heard it from Evelyn. No disability is contagious. We should actually be contagious to embrace them, to be friends with them, to encourage them. Because guess what? You are beautifully and wonderfully made. The Bible in Psalms 139, verse 14, it says, "Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." This is from the NLT translation. And we should know that everyone who has one form of disability or the other, they have been beautifully and wonderfully made by God, just like you and I. And you know what? The truth is that we all suffer one form of disability or another. Some are obvious, some are not so obvious. May God be with us, be with you, keep safe, and just go out today, be sensitive about those around you, hug a friend, hug people with disabilities. Yes, this is the era of social distancing, but you know what I mean. Be friendly, show your love. God bless you. Until I see you again next time. Bye now.